Hello, I'm Doug Chaffee, your North Orange County Supervisor. I'm co-hosting this meeting with Congressman Cisneros. Since mail-in ballots are going out on October 5, we want to provide an overview of voting in the November 3rd general election. Congressman Cisneros and representatives of the Orange County Register of Voters and the Fullerton Collaborative will speak about voter registration, early voting, voting by mail, vote center locations, ballot drop-off locations, security of the United States Post Office, and other miscellaneous items. Now, please join me in welcoming Congressman Cisneros.
Hello everyone, this is Congressman Cisneros. I'm honored to join Supervisor Chaffee to co-host this general election voting information meeting. Thank you to the Orange County Register of Voters and the Fullerton Collaborative for joining us today. Election Day is a little more than a month away, but for the state of California, early voting starts next week on October 5th. Now, with an election in the middle of a pandemic, your health and safety is our top priority. So whether you choose to vote in person, return your ballot at a drop box, or vote by mail, do what you feel most comfortable with. I know there have been a lot of concerns about the U.S. Postal Service. I can assure you I am working with my colleagues in Congress to make sure USPS has the funding they need and that operations run smoothly, not just for your ballot, but also for your mailed medication and other important packages. I've been in conversations with local, state, and federal officials, and I can assure you that this will be a safe and secure election. Make sure you double and triple check your voter registration to make sure everything is up to date and accurate, especially if you moved recently. Take note of key dates and deadlines, and don't wait until the last minute to vote. Make sure your ballot is postmarked on or before Election Day, or that you drop it off no later than 8 p.m. on Election Day. Once you drop it off, you can track your ballot at voterstatus.sos.ca.gov. Vote as early as you can and remind your friends and family to do the same. Exercising your right to vote is one of your most important civic duties because you deserve to be heard. Take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Gil, for co-hosting this informational meeting. Now it's my pleasure to welcome the Fullerton Collaborative board members to speak about the importance of voting.
Hello, I am Deborah Stout, the Executive Director of the Fullerton Collaborative. I've invited board members here to join me, and as we share with you why it's important to vote and how to engage the community in the voting process.
Hello, my name is Lana Fercucci of CF Dance Academy and the Classic Fullerton Ballroom, and also the board chair of the Fullerton Collaborative. I am voting because it is my duty, and I think we should vote as a community because it will help us move forward into the future together.
Hi, my name is Barry Ross from Providence St. Joseph Health. Our health system has a Vote for Health campaign. Elections determine the future of programs and services that support the health and well-being of our communities. We recommend that you register to vote or check your information is up to date, know the voting process, and learn about the issues. Help ensure the future of health is inclusive, just, and fair for all.
Hi, my name is Katie Savant. I'm the Director of Local Government and Community Relations for Cal State Fullerton. I want to encourage all students to vote. You are part of the community too. And if you are not able to vote, vote for those who cannot and give them a voice.
Hi, I'm Lisa McFerrin, Director of Campus Communications at Fullerton College. A historic amount of people are going to vote by mail this election. Be part of history. Have your voice heard.
Hi, my name is Jay Williams and I'm with OC United. The importance of voting is that this is the great opportunity for us to speak truth to power and get the people that we think will best represent our values elected.
Thank you so much for listening to our partners in the Fullerton Collaborative, and make a community impact and vote.
Hi, everyone. This is Christian Esteban, Executive Director of Hoya Scholars. I am also honored to serve as the co-chair of the Next Gen Youth Empowerment Subcommittee on the Fullerton Collaborative. And we at Hoya Scholars, of course, represent our low-income Latinx and immigrant communities here in the Garnet and Maple neighborhoods in the city of Fullerton. And we just want to encourage and empower everybody with the ability to do so. Please vote this coming election. Every single election is important. We want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard and everybody can be counted. That way we can elevate one another and celebrate in this grand tradition of being able to partake in the political system that we have here in this country. So get out there and vote. And we're certainly going to be encouraging our own communities to do the same this November.
Thank you to members of Fullerton Collaborative for being part of this important message. Now, please join me in welcoming Neil Kelly from our Orange County Registrar of Voters office.
Hello, I'm Neil Kelly, Orange County's Registrar of Voters. I'd like to thank Supervisor Doug Chaffee's office for allowing us the opportunity to talk to you about what's coming up with voting in the November election, and in particular, what's happening in the 4th District. I'm going to walk through several new updates for you on voting in person as well as voting at home, and share with you some of the things that we're doing in the community to bring the word about voting to you, and then also give you options as a voter. So as I move through this presentation, we're going to talk about a couple of things. In particular, vote centers are new in 2020 here in Orange County. We launched those in the March primary. And what it essentially does is it eliminates the neighborhood polling places and consolidates them into larger vote centers or customer service centers. There's 3 advantages to this. The first is that every voter receives a ballot through the mail. So you have options in terms of how you would like to vote. The other is an extended period of voting. So not just a single day of voting, but for this upcoming November election, there will be 5 days of voting. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. And then the third is, and my favorite of all, is you have the options of voting at any vote center in Orange County. You're no longer tied to your home precinct. You no longer have to go to one single location. You can stop in at any of the locations over that 5-day period. One of the things that we've recently set up on our website is a trusted election official series of pages that go through a number of common myths that you might hear on the internet and addresses them one by one and talks about the realities of voting and the truth behind voting. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and it's important that you go to the trusted source, which is the county office that conducts the elections, and we can provide you accurate information. We also have information that you can get from our operators at 714-567-7600, or you can chat live with them online at ocvote.com/chat. One of the things that I wanted to do from the very beginning is not have you go through a series of recordings. So when you call my office and you're looking for voting information, you'll go right to a live operator. We're getting the word out on a number of things related to this election, and I think it's really important that voters understand their options. And one of the things that I'm asked quite often is what keeps me up at night. And one of the things that does keep me up at night is making sure we communicate to voters in a very clear way so they understand what their options are, especially with COVID-19 and what some of the changes are moving forward. And I want to take just a few seconds here to share with you our broadcast commercial, which is running throughout Orange County cable systems, in addition to a number of other outreach opportunities I'll talk about more in a second. But this one focuses on voting at home. It's 30 seconds if you'd have a listen.
This November, the easiest way to vote is at home, using your ballot that comes in the mail. And the safest way to vote while preventing exposure to COVID? That's also at home, using your ballot that comes in the mail. You even have choices for how to return your ballot: at a secure drop box, at a vote center, or through the mail. Voting has never been so easy, safe, and secure. For more information, visit ocvote.com.
That focuses on voting at home, but what about the other options? I know there's a lot of individuals that still would prefer to vote in person, and we're going to be here for you. One of the things that we have done in detail is to work on a safe and secure COVID-19 plan, which I'll talk about more in just a second. But this next 30-second broadcast commercial talks about the options that are available, not just voting at home, but other options such as in person.
Voting has never been easier or more convenient, and now you have more options than ever. You can vote in person at any of nearly 170 vote centers starting on October 30th. Or you can avoid the crowds by voting from home using your ballot that comes in the mail. Return your ballot at a secure drop box or at a vote center or through the mail. No matter which option you choose, voting is easy and secure. To learn more, visit ocvote.com.
So a couple of words on the things that we're sending out to voters. We just recently completed our full mailing of 1.7 million voter information guides. That's the county guide that has been sent to you. It's got a bright yellow cover that you can see there on the screen. And that guide contains a number of important pieces of information, including your options for voting, when information will be mailed to you, information on candidates and measures, as well as the statements, a practice ballot. I really like to point out the practice ballot because you can take an opportunity to mark that practice ballot ahead of time if you choose to vote in person. It'll speed up your process when you do go vote in person. And then there's a lot of good information in there on what a vote center is and what you can do in a vote center and how voting at home works. And those were sent on September 24th and were sent out throughout the entire county and should have arrived in your mailbox, if not, very soon. Next up is our Vote at Home program, which is the official ballot that will be sent to every single voter in Orange County, 1.7 million, and we will start mailing those on October the 5th, including those that are in languages for individuals who've requested language assistance. And that mailing will be on a single day, so those ballots will start to arrive with just in a few days of October the 5th. And since we have that mailing starting on October the 5th, our official ballot drop boxes, you can see an image of that here. There's 116 located throughout the county, and in your voter information guide, under all the cities within the 4th district, you'll be able to see where your vote centers are as well as your secure drop boxes. And that list contains really good information because it will tell you the hours, the locations, the address, etc. And you can rest assured when you put that ballot into that secure drop box, you're bypassing the mail in this case, and it's going directly to our office here. We service those on a daily basis moving through the election. The radio dispatched teams that go out and collect those ballots, 2 individuals at a time. They're satellite tracked, and we post that information about picking up your ballot on our tracking system. And you can sign up for that at ocvote.com/track. It's a good way to have just an extra piece of confidence for you to be able to track your ballot. I always tell people, if you're tracking your Amazon package that's your pet food, for instance, why wouldn't you want to track your ballot? And you can do that from start to finish on our website. Now, there's been a lot of information about the post office that's been circulating at the national level. And a couple of things I want to point out about this. The post office here in Orange County is a trusted partner of ours. We have been doing mailings with them for decades, as you can imagine. And we meet with them on a regular basis. I meet personally with the executive leadership at the post office here on an ongoing basis. And more importantly, when we do our mailings, we are not just relying on them telling us everything's going okay. We're looking at data on a daily basis. And this is data down to the street levels. So we can see when your ballot has been put in your carrier's hand. We have a digital image of that envelope. We had to go track it and trace it. And we also are able to look at zip codes to ensure that the ballots are being delivered timely. So this is really important. But I do understand there might be some people that might have some reservations about putting their ballot into the postal system. And that's why you have options. You have those 116 secure ballot drop boxes, plus you have 170 vote centers throughout Orange County that will open on October the 30th that you can hand deliver your ballot to. And what's also new and exciting for me for this election is we're opening 42 drive-through locations. So if you would rather hand your ballot to an individual, there's going to be 42 of those locations, and they are also listed in your voter information guide, those drive-through locations, including throughout the 4th district. Our vote center opening begins on October the 30th. That will run for 5 days through Election Day on November the 3rd. But remember, voting in Orange County is no longer a single day activity. It is 5 days of voting. We don't even call it early voting because it's 5 election days. And so you have the opportunity on the weekend before Election Day to cast your ballot. We will be open at 170 sites, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., October 30th through November 2nd. And then we will be open on Election Day, November 3rd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. One of the biggest sites in Orange County, the largest vote center, it's going to be 10 times the size of a regular vote center, is right in the 4th district, and it's at the Honda Center. So if you're out and about and you would like to drive through that Honda Center parking lot and drop off your ballot, or if you'd like to go in person, you'll be able to go inside of the Honda Center, and we'll have a very large setup inside among the concourses there for you to cast your ballot. So we'll be looking forward to seeing you there if you'd like to. As I mentioned, about 170 locations throughout Orange County. The beauty of these are that when you go in, we check you in electronically, no more paper rosters to thumb through. It's a very convenient and quick process when you go in. But I do want to point out that this is in-person voting under COVID-19. Now, just like whenever you go out shopping or you go other places where there are restrictions for COVID-19, you're going to see the same thing in the in-person voting operations here in the county. So I'll just give you a couple of examples. One is there's going to be hand sanitizer stations at each vote center, clear signage like you see here, as well as floor markings to direct voters. We're going to have disposable ballot pens for every voter. So no longer will you have to share a pen, you'll have your own pen for your ballot. All of our vote center employees will be outfitted in full PPE, so they'll be protected, as well as we will have face coverings for voters if they come in without a face covering, and we'll kindly offer or ask you to wear one when you come in to a vote center. Although you're not required, it's the constitutional right for you to cast your ballot. But we will ask you, if you do show up without one, to kindly wear one. And so as you'll see, there's a lot of protections for both our staff as well as voters in those vote center locations if you do choose to cast your ballot in person. But I do want to point out that your ballot that you cast, that you receive through the mail, are some of the first ballots that are counted before Election Day. In fact, all the ballots that my office receives through the morning of Election Day on November 3rd will be posted as results on election night at 8:05. As a part of our outreach campaign, we are doing quite a bit to reach voters throughout Orange County, to talk to them about their options. Here's some examples of our outdoor and transit media that you might see out and about in Orange County. We have a very strong social media program that's underway, and you should see, I'm sure you're going to see some of our ads in your social media feeds, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We've got a very robust campaign underway to educate voters. In addition to that, we're going to be mailing these large direct mail postcards to every voter in Orange County, all 1.7 million, 2 times, one on October the 1st and then a second time on October the 19th. And these postcards are designed to provide you information on your options. When you flip the card over, you'll see your closest vote center as well as your closest drop box will be printed on that card, customized just for you. And just as a reminder, you don't have to vote at those locations, but we're just going to point out the closest one for you to your home. And this just gives you a good example of some of the outreach materials that we are using throughout this process leading up to Election Day. And I want to leave you with just a really good wealth of information on our website at ocvote.com. When you go there, it's just super easy to use in all the languages that we support here in Orange County. And right now, if you go to the website, you're going to see 3 things right on the homepage, and that is your ballot return options, your in-person voting options, and all of your voting options. If you click any of those links, it'll give you all the information you're looking for. You can type in your address or whatever address you work at, for instance, and it'll show you the closest vote centers, mailboxes, drop boxes, right around that location that you type in that address for. So it's a really good source of information. And here's an example of what you'll see on those in-person voting options. And then, of course, you have the return ballot options as well. So once again, I want to thank you and thank Supervisor Chaffee for the opportunity to share with you what's new for the election coming up this November. And again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity, as well as to say how honored I am to serve as your chief election official here in Orange County. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Neil, for that very informative presentation. And thank you to all of our speakers. Our audience has submitted a number of questions. The first question is, are all registered voters in California receiving a mail-in ballot? The answer is yes. On May 8, 2020, Governor Newsom issued an executive order, which among other things requires that a vote-by-mail ballot be mailed to each voter prior to the November 3rd election. Second question is there a way to quickly see if we are registered? The answer is yes. You can quickly check your registration information at ocvote.com/VLT/. Our third question is, when is it too late to mail the ballot? A ballot must be postmarked by Election Day, November 3rd, and received by the register within 3 days after Election Day to be counted for a vote. Our fourth question is, do we have to pay for postage to mail the ballot? No, you do not. You don't have to pay for postage to mail a ballot. By law, all vote-by-mail ballot return envelopes must be postage prepaid. The bill became effective on January 1, 2019, establishing this requirement. Our final question is, will my vote count if my signature has changed throughout the years? Your signature on your ballot will be compared to your DMV signature to verify that you are the correct voter. You may check your ballot on www.ocvote.com to verify that your vote was counted. Thank you for all of your questions and joining us for this election voting informational meeting. Remember to watch out for your voting by mail ballots and remember to vote in the election.